The plan is to sail 720 nautical miles offshore to Bermuda from Lunenburg, Nova Scotia. This route will take me into the North Atlantic on my first ever offshore passage and first single-handed passage. The weather models are looking quite favorable for this trip, so we'll see how it goes. I am truly on my own out here now, and I'll soon be far enough offshore that there will be no speedy rescue in case of emergency. My moves and decisions need to be deliberate to avoid major problems. Well, the coast of Nova Scotia is no more. So we're making some half-decent headway today. Bit wavy out here. It's supposed to settle down, I think, later in the trip. Purple finch. Rest for the night. Yeah. End of the first day at sea on our way to Bermuda. Down and the moon comes up. This is the third morning at sea since I left Lunenburg. Wind is kind of light today, but we're moving along, 4.5 knots average, I'd say. The sea state has definitely settled down quite a bit. It was really lumpy and kind of disorganized swell coming from a number of different directions. And made for a fair bit of rolling, and so a lot better today though. This is my first offshore passage ever, so quite interesting, and I'm doing it by myself as well. One thing that I've found rather interesting is
the whole idea of laying down and having a nap. You know, I put a timer on so that I get up so I can look around fairly frequently. Just the idea that the boat is sailing itself while I'm down below sleeping is a little different. You know, the tendency to want to be up on deck and see what's going on all the time is, you know, and going for a nap doesn't quite go together, but I've gotten used to it already. Dolphins. Whoa. Well, this is morning of day 4, close hauled, pointed as close as we can to Bermuda. So hopefully we get a little bit better wind direction at some point. It's hard to make good headway in this. I mean, I'm doing all right, but be better with the beam reach, that's for sure. Yesterday was a lot of light wind, and then late in the evening got becalmed a few times trying to get the boat to sail again, and then the wind picked up in this direction and it was close hauled all night. Managed to get it to steer itself relatively well, but I figured out a better arrangement today, so I'm happy with that. We get the sun coming in and out a little bit. There's no trouble staying warm now. Water temperature is 26.5 degrees Celsius, and so things are feeling a lot warmer. At least you don't have to freeze yourself when you're going to windward.
Eleutheros steered herself the majority of the time on this trip using various sheet-to-tiller control methods. It can take anywhere from a minute to as much as 20 minutes to set up correctly. I will usually observe the sheet-to-tiller arrangement for a half an hour or so before I go below for cooking or a nap. The more experienced one becomes with sheet-to-tiller steering, the easier it becomes to set it up quickly.
A little flying fish here. So this is the beginning of day 5, and this trip is going to take a little longer than what I had thought it might. We had a day of very light winds for pretty much the whole day, and then the next day was, the wind was right on the nose the whole day. So yeah, you don't make as much progress on those sorts of days. Today I think is shaping up to be kind of a light wind day again. So instead of 5 or 6 days, this could be 7 days, maybe even more. I don't know, we'll see. My main concern is getting there before some bad weather brews up. So hopefully we can do that. So I don't have a whole lot of wind, it's just starting to fill in here again. Got post-tropical storm, well, it's supposed to be post-tropical storm by the time it gets over here, Oscar. So I want to try to put some distance between myself and where it's going to come through, so we'll see how this all fares out.
I have the first reef in the main here, and I'm preparing to put the second deep reef in. The jib already has 2 reefs in it. It may not seem too bad on camera, but with the boat reaching speeds over 7 knots in rough conditions, it's really never too soon to reef. Finally, I've hoisted the storm jib and am taking the main down completely and lashing it. When heaving to, I simply get the boat onto the opposite tack that I want to be on. Then I tack the boat to the desired tack and simply allow the jib to remain backed. Before I hove to, I was close hauled and reaching speeds at times in excess of 7.5 knots. Heaving to slowed the boat down to 1 to 2 knots, and with much sideways slip or leeway, created turbulent water from the drag of the keel through the water. This turbulent water helps to break down breaking waves to windward and makes things a lot safer. After heaving to for almost 2 days, things settled down to the point that I could get underway again. I really regret not getting any footage of the storm. It was really the last thing on my mind to be filming. especially when having no small amount of anxiety. The storm was a strong force 9 or strong gale, with the wind blowing streaks of foam off the tops of the waves. The wind would die down when the boat was in the troughs of the waves and whipped the boat on the crests. When the main front of the storm passed, it brought intense lightning and heavy lashing rain. 3 times during the storm I had a wave break right over the boat. I had some water squirt in through the companionway hatch. Other than that, the boat was dry inside, including my bunk. There wasn't enough water in the bilge for the float switch to activate the pump, and after the trip I bailed out about 4 liters with a turkey baster. The only damage occurred when a wave shoved the dinghy into my second anchor, and the anchor gouged the deck a little.
Well, this is day 9 of Lunenburg, Nova Scotia to Bermuda, which is way longer than what it should take. But the weather modeling was atrocious for this. Ended up with post-tropical storm Oscar that came right over me. And so I was hove to basically for 2 days over that. And anyways, we're not going to make it to Bermuda before dark, so that means we're going to have to heave to off shore a little ways at some point and wait for morning to head in. And I will be glad to put my feet on dry land again.
On the morning of the 10th day, I hoisted all sail and tacked my way towards the town cut, which is the entrance to St. George's Harbor, Bermuda. Of course, at this point, I ran out of film for the camera and missed some nice shots of entering the harbor.
Please like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps us out. Thanks for watching.